And importantly, I want to emphasize for people that you can actually increase aggressive behaviors by boosting estrogen. We know that's true in
Yes.
animals. You can stimulate
Yeah.
estrogen receptor neurons in the hypothalamus, and this will literally
Mm,
make mice attack other mice. It's probably involved in the transition to motherhood
mm,
in females, right? Think of the concept of
yeah.
the mama grizzly becoming more aggressive. But also,
Mm,
you have some interesting stuff you include in one part of the book
yeah.
around increasing the aggression in primates by changing their
Mm,
diet to estrogenize
yeah.
them, basically.
Yes, yeah. So that's a funny one. So basically, there was this great study that was done in 2004 of male macaques. And what they did was they fed them. So they were observing them in their troops, in their social groups, and they gave them a diet that was high in soy isoflavones. And soy isoflavones are the estrogenic compounds that you find, natural estrogenic compounds that you find in soy products. And what they discovered was that actually doing this basically made the mice into kind of like passive aggressive incel monkeys, basically, is maybe the kind of best way to describe it. It made the monkeys, the male monkeys, simultaneously more withdrawn from the troop. So they kind of,
Mm-hmm.
like became
Mm-hmm.
incels. They sort of withdrew from the troop and didn't engage in social interactions as much, but it also made them more aggressive. So in the instances where they did interact with other macaques in the troop, they were bitchy and attacked them, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so.
So they were
I mean,
more
this is a very
irritable and less assertive,
mm,
basically. They didn't go and
yes,
interact with the group willingly,
mm,
but when they had to interact with someone,
yeah,
they were basically more aggressive.
yeah. And so this is, I mean, this is the complete opposite, really, of the testosterone as aggression hormone thesis. You can give male monkeys um, these soy compounds that by the way are in all of these sort of processed soy foods that people eat today. They're in, these soy milk and all this kind of stuff because modern soy products aren't fermented. And this is the difference
Right.
between modern soy products and the consumption of soy historically, is that soy was consumed in small amounts in places like Japan, and it was always fermented
Hmm.
because ferment. I mean, not that they knew that what they were doing was
Right, right. But it
deactivating the soy
turns out
compounds.
that pre-digestion
Mm,
basically gets rid of the
yes,
estrogen-like compounds.
yeah. And so actually, pretty much the only demographic that ever consumed unfermented soy were monks who were looking to, like Buddhist monks, who were looking to basically lower their libido levels and be in better control of their desires.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's actually true.
Wow.
So,
So they would intentionally eat
um,
certain diets to basically
mm,
try and reach nirvana faster.
yeah, I mean, a vegetarian diet does that anyway, and that's something that I talk about in the book too. But yeah, this estrogen thing, is interesting, and it really does kind of, I think, in a funny way and in an engaging way, actually cut to the heart of this kind of testosterone myth. But what you also see actually that I think is interesting in a lot of these studies is you see there are built-in biases, I think, in things like, so a lot of the experiments are social psychology experiments, right? So you get groups of men
Mhm.
and you put either a testosterone gel, transdermal gel on their arm, or you give them a control, so it's a gel, but it's not testosterone. It's just something neutral. And then you get them to do some kind of task that illustrates, let's say, or that explores some kind of virtue or sort of social behavior. Like a lot of them focus on fairness. So they'll
Mhm.
do this, so they'll apply the gels, and then they'll say, like, you play a game where you have to allocate rewards to people, and
I
you
see.
get to choose how to allocate the rewards. And so what they're trying to see basically is whether if you give someone a shot of testosterone, will they be more fair? Will they be less fair? Will they be more aggressive? Will they be less aggressive? Will they be um, more favorable to inequality and hierarchy, or will they be more egalitarian? But what you get with a lot of these studies, and particularly the ones that focus on fairness and egalitarianism, is that, yeah, you'll find that if you give men a shot of testosterone, they're happier with hierarchy. That seems to be a major finding of a lot of these studies, is that actually, you give men a shot of testosterone, and actually they're okay with some people getting bigger rewards than others. But what then happens is you get this kind of sleight, it's not really a sleight of hand, but it's kind of these built-in biases. I mean, we live in a democratic society, and so what do you do? Well, you say, okay, well, that's antisocial. So
Mm,
testosterone is an antisocial hormone because it makes men happy with hierarchy and inequality. Well, actually, the vast majority of human societies, I mean, like 99.9% of human societies, have been rigidly hierarchical
mm.
throughout history. So,
Yeah. Well, it's like you can see this sort of thing creep in almost any field, but in this particular
mm,
area, it's you can really see it jump out. I mean, just to
yes,
put the similar spin on something from the animal world that I'm familiar with. Again, let's think of the concept of parental defensive aggression, which is perfectly
mm,
natural and perfectly healthy, right?
yes,
When a
yeah,
female has babies, whether we're talking about a grizzly bear, a human being, or a mouse,
mm,
she will become more defensively aggressive, right? She will,
mm,
famously, little animals will fight much bigger animals off if they've got
yeah,
their little cubs or nestlings to take
mm,
care of.